현재 위스콘신은 2024년 미국 대통령 선거의 결과를 좌우할 수 있는 7개 경합주 가운데 하나입니다. 중서부에 위치한 이곳은 유제품 농장과 치즈 제조 그리고 맥주 문화로 유명하며 선거에서 매우 근소한 차이로 승패가 갈리는 경향이 있습니다. 최근 두 차례 대선은 1% 미만의 차이로 결정됐습니다. 베리 버든 교수가 이 중요한 경합주를 분석합니다.
There's something magical in Wisconsin that the demographics of the groups that favor the two parties are just sort of perfectly offset. And when one party makes a gain with a group that's growing, maybe urban voters in Madison helping Democrats, it seems as though Republicans also have a gain that's equivalent with whether it's rural voters or suburban voters.
하지만 역사적으로 초접전 선거에도 불구하고 2016년까지는 민주당 후보들이 위스콘신에서 승리하는 경우가 많았습니다.
Yeah, I would say 2016 was a real shock to both Republicans and Democrats. It was a surprise to see a Republican candidate win the state after so many election cycles going back to the mid-1980s since a Republican had last won the state in 1984. So I think that's alerted both parties that there's something afoot in the state. For Trump, it was rural and suburban voters who really came to his side. And I think a lack of investment by the Democratic campaign under Hillary Clinton. She famously did not visit the state.
조 바이든 대통령은 2020년에 위스콘신을 다시 민주당 쪽으로 돌려놨습니다. 그러나 민주당 후보 카멀라 해리스는 어떤 것도 당연하게 여기지 않고 있습니다. 그는 밀워키에서 선거운동을 시작했습니다.
The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin.
공화당은 위스콘신에서 전당대회를 개최했습니다.
We will make Wisconsin great again.
미국의 다른 곳들과 마찬가지로 위스콘신 유권자들의 주요 관심사는 경제입니다. 그러나 대단히 중요할 수 있는 이슈가 또 하나 있습니다.
Abortion has become a top issue in the state, maybe more so than in the rest of the country. When the Supreme Court decision was handed down that did away with Roe v. Wade, it mattered more in Wisconsin than other states because abortion had been legal and had been provided across the state before that time. But the week the decision was handed down, those abortion providers stopped. And the abortion issue has been pulling some women, especially higher education women, away from the Republican Party. I do think the African American vote is an important one to watch. African Americans only make up about 6% of the state. They vote at lower rates than whites, but they're very democratic, of course, though less so in recent years, as has been the pattern nationally. Black voters have been migrating just a little bit in the Republican direction, especially younger black voters. So Democrats are going to make a real effort to try to re-energize African American voters and get them back on their side, and I think the Kamala Harris ticket with her at the head of it will get them some of that. But the Trump campaign will also make, I think, a serious effort to win over black voters in the state. So that's a small block, but maybe a pivotal one. In a very close election, as we expect in Wisconsin, even a small vote that goes for an independent candidate or a minor party candidate could matter. And there is a history of those candidates doing well in Wisconsin. Jill Stein, who was the Green Party candidate this year, was also the Green Party candidate in 2016 and won about 100,000 votes. Although Hillary Clinton only lost to Donald Trump by about 20,000 votes. So there's at least some evidence that a candidate sometimes holds enough votes in their pocket that they could have made the difference. I think Kamala Harris's selection of a running mate matters more for Wisconsin than in other states. Tim Walz is from Minnesota, which is the neighboring state. A lot of people in Wisconsin will be familiar with him. He also can sort of talk a language and connect with the culture of the upper Midwest. Things like hunting and fishing and lifestyles and other things that I think allow him to relate, especially in small towns in Wisconsin, in a way that maybe some of the other running mates she was thinking about wouldn't have.
Look, I know guns. I'm a veteran. I'm a hunter. And I was a better shot than most Republicans in Congress, and I got the trophies to prove it.
최근 여론조사에 따르면 위스콘신의 선거는 또다시 치열한 접전이 될 것으로 보입니다. 그러나 한 가지 예측할 수 있는 것은 높은 투표율입니다. 위스콘신은 일반적으로 전국 5위 안에 드는 투표율을 기록하고 있습니다.